Murtaugh. From the St. Louis Cardinals, their manager, Red Shandies. Batting first and playing right field, 9 times an All-Star and 3 times the National League's batting champion from the Cincinnati Reds, Pete Rose. Batting second, playing left field, he stole 118 bases last year to set a new record from the St. Louis Cardinals, Lou Brock. Batting third and playing second base, the 6-time All-Star among the batting leaders all season from the Cincinnati Reds, Joe Morgan. Batting fourth and catching, 3-time National League RBI leader and National League's top vote getter from the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Bench. Batting fifth and playing first base, the National League's most valuable player in 1974 and the most valuable player in last year's All-Star game from the St. Louis Dodgers, Steve Garvey. Batting sixth and playing center field, he hit over 20 home runs 8 times in his career, known as the Toy Cannon, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jimmy Wynn. Batting seventh and playing third base, the National League's starting third baseman for the second consecutive year from Los Angeles Dodgers, Ron Cey. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, twice an All-Star, enjoying his finest season in 1975 from the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Concepcion. Pitching and warming up in the bullpen, tied for National League lead in shutouts from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jerry Royce. And now here are the remaining National League All-Stars. From the Atlanta Braves, pitcher Phil Niekro. From the Chicago Cubs, third baseman Bill Medlock. From the Cincinnati Reds, first baseman Tony Perez. From the Houston Astros, first baseman Bob Watson. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, pitchers Mike Marshall. Andy Messerschmidt. Don Sutton. From the Montreal Expos, catcher-outfielder Gary Carter. From the New York Mets, pitcher John Metlock. Tom Seaver. From the Philadelphia Phillies, shortstop Larry Boa. Second baseman Dave Cash. Outfielder Greg Lazinski. Pitcher Doug McGraw. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, outfielder Al Oliver. Catcher Manny Sanguian. From the St. Louis Cardinals, outfielder Reggie Smith. From the San Diego Padres, pitcher Randy Jones. From the San Francisco Giants, outfielder Bobby Mercer. Now let's greet the American League All-Stars. The manager from the world champion Oakland A's, Alvin Dark. The American League coaches from the Milwaukee Brewers, their manager, Del Crandall. From the Texas Rangers, their manager, Billy Martin. Batting first and playing center field, twice he's stolen 30 bases and hit 30 home runs in a season from the New York Yankees, Bobby Bonds. Batting second and playing second base, four-time American League batting champion and current leader from the Minnesota Twins, Rod Carew. Batting third and catching, fourth in batting average, and fifth in hits in the American League from the New York Yankees, Thurman Munson. Batting fourth and playing right field, American League's most valuable player in 1973, averaging over 31 homers each of his last 7 years, from the world champion A's, Reggie Jackson. Batting fifth and playing left field, star of the 1972 World Series, 1974 American League Most Valuable Player runner-up from the Oakland A's, Joe Rudy. Batting sixth and playing third base, averaging 23 home runs each of his last 5 seasons from the New York Yankees, Greg Nettles. Batting seventh and playing first base, only man ever to hit home runs in his first 2 World Series at-bats from the world champion Oakland A's, Gene Tennis. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, he's stolen more than 500 bases and over 30 for 10 consecutive years from the Oakland A's, Bert Campaneris. Pitching and warming up in the bullpen, former Most Valuable Player, Cy Young Award winner and American League's All-Star Game winner in 1971 from the Oakland A's, Vida Blue. And now here are the remaining American League All-Stars. From the Baltimore Orioles, pitcher Jim Palmer. From the Boston Red Sox, outfielder Fred Lynn. First baseman Carl Yastrzemski. From the California Angels, third baseman Dave Chalk. Pitcher Nolan Ryan. From the Chicago White Sox, shortstop Bucky Dent. Pitchers Rich Gossage. Jim Cott. Second baseman George Orta. From the Cleveland Indians, outfielder George Hendrick. Detroit Tigers catcher Bill Freehand. From the Kansas City Royals, pitcher Steve Busby. Outfielder Al McRae. From the Milwaukee Brewers, outfielder Hank Aaron.
Used to hit more to right and right center than the left. There's a long drive. Balls it deep, deep. It is gone. He did it. He did it. Henry Aaron.
First baseman George Scott. For the New York Yankees, pitcher Jim Catfish Hunter. From the Oakland A's, pitcher Raleigh Fingers. Outfielder Claudell Washington. From the Texas Rangers, outfielder Mike Hargrove. Infielder Toby Hera.
The American League, the home team will be taking the field shortly. Vida Blue has been warming up out in the bullpen. He'll be the starting pitcher, and warming up in the National League bullpen has been Jerry Royce.
Kurt, I thought the idea of the honorary captains was just super.
I do, too. I think of the players they can bring back from now on, and every year, DiMaggio, right on down the line.
Ted Williams comes to mind immediately. The Hall of Famers we talked about. The Hall of Famers going back.
Tonight.
Bill Dickey's.
I mean, the crowd really got a thrill of seeing Musial and Mantle here tonight. And they both said, imagine the thrill we had being here, being exposed again, not only to the fans of Milwaukee, but to the nation.
Well, I had dinner with Stan and his family and Red and his family last night, and that's all Stan was talking about. I mean, once you're out of the game and you come back, to know that they remembered you, that's the thing that they were saying. And what an ovation Mr. Aaron got.
All right. Here is Vida Blue, who has won 12 games and lost 7. The last 2 starts, his club hasn't exactly worn the cover off the ball. They've been shut out. He lost to Oakland 2-0 and to Baltimore 4-0. 17-game winner last year. Looks like he'll surpass that record this year. He's been the ace of the Oakland pitching staff, although Ken Holtzman now has reeled off 6 wins in a row. The Oakland A's represented here tonight by one of their ace pitchers, Vida Blue, the defending world champs.
And if there was anybody that could upstage Vida Blue, it'd be Charlie Finley and his green cap, cowboy cap. I think it was a 57-gallon hat that he had, and giving out orange baseballs.
Hear that?
Thurman Munson behind the plate for the American League All-Star team. We asked Thurman Munson any problems catching pitchers he has not seen before. Let's hear what he has to say about Vida Blue and the rest of the staff.
You know, Vida mixes up the pitches real well, Tony. You know, actually right now, you know, my mind really isn't too much in the All-Star game. My wife's back in Canton, Ohio, Diana, and she's expecting a baby anytime now, and I just want to let her know, you know, I wish her luck, and I just wish I could be there to be with her.
Good for him.
He said, I didn't want to give anybody the impression that I'm not here to win. He said, but my mind is on other things.
His mind better be on Vida Blue right now. Here's Pete Rose leading off and takes a look at the ball. Pete Rose hitting .319, a switch hitter. Right to the box. There goes your no-hitter, and the first man up, Rose is on. He played in 7 previous All-Star games. This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. And Major League Baseball has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. Lou Brock usually bats leadoff for the Cardinals. He's hitting number 2 in the American League lineup tonight. He's hit .314 this year. His second start in an All-Star game, a ball to him. He was a starting left fielder in the '67 game. He's played in 3 other games. Behind him will be little Joe Morgan. Pounded foul. You know, you wonder about the batting order. If you might not have Rose hitting second and Brock leading off, guys.
You wonder about it. I just wonder how much thought goes into it. But when you got, you know, what's it like? It's like plugging in AC or DC, I guess. I don't know. You can't go wrong, whoever you put up there.
A 1-1 delivery. There's a fly ball in the left field. Coming on is Rudy. He's got it. Playing it halfway is Rose. And retreats to first. 1 down. Brock goes to left field a lot. In fact, in batting practice, all he did was try to hit the left field.
Here's
and
a
Rudy
man,
was positioned for it.
Man coming up, I think, fellas, has had about the best offensive year of almost anybody in baseball. He leads in so many departments, or is close to the leadership.
He is second in batting, .345. Fourth in runs batted in. A little man. First in stolen bases in the National League with 40, and first in walks. What more do you want him to do? He may be right now the finest all-around player in the game, Joe Morgan. And he pops it foul over toward the seats. Racing, can't quite get to it, is Greg Nettles.
There's a commercial promotion going on, and Seymour Siwoff has the standards that they set up for baseball. And right now, I mean, they're going back to all the records, setting up standards. Morgan is so far above the standards that he had to go back and recheck.
His on-base percentage is extraordinary, or has been the first half. It's a lot of walks.
That curve is high for a ball. They play him straight away with Nettles inside at third. He forces the infield in on you, and then he can slap it by. He can hit with power. He'll drive the ball a lot into the right field corner. There's a high foul twisting into the seats. To run the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out for the National League. Pete Rose at first, top of the first inning.
Tony, you remember in Montreal, Gene Mauch said his on-base percentage was 55%, and that was his address at first base, 55 first base, but right in a hurry because he's going to leave.
Blue checks his runner. Fastball laced into center. Bobby Bonds can't get it. Rounding his, here comes the throw. It's there, and they got him. Bobby Bonds throws him out. Nettles puts the tag on the sliding road, and Joe Morgan goes down to second on the throw to third.
Let's look at it again. You can bet that the National League, especially Pete Rose, knows that Bonds has been having trouble with his legs, but Bobby got over on the short pop to center field very quickly and made a good throw. Here it is again, Joe.
Rose made a decision, and I thought he was going to make it when he went in with his hands because that's a tough tag to make. He went for the corner, but it was right there. A beautiful throw, a good tag, and a good call.
You can count on Pete to give you a thrill right off the bat, can't you?
Never forget when he crashed into Fosse in the All-Star game in extra innings in Cincinnati. Johnny Bench. He's only been up 8 years. He's only been elected to the All-Star team 8 times. He's hitting .293, 19 homers, 73 runs batted in. Soft curve is inside to him for a ball. Morgan at second. There are 2 outs. The National League's had 2 hits off Vida Blue here in the top of the first. No score, though. The outfield's deep and set toward left. And that one is outside. Heller was all ready to call it a strike, but then changed his mind. Started to come up with that right arm. 2 balls, no strikes to Bench. Steve Garvey on deck. That fastball's bounced foul. 2-1 to Johnny Bench. There is Garvey, a right-in man last year who wound up as the most valuable player in the game. He won the Commissioner's Trophy. Morgan will get a lead at second with his back to you, number 8. 2 away. Blue faking him back. The infield is deep and shaded toward third. Bench is usually a pull hitter to left. And he went after that fastball. Blue had a little something extra on that one. That one jumped.
That's the hardest he's thrown tonight, right there, I think.
That was it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vida Blue worked very hard in spring training. And I remember one of our opening games when Joe and Tony and I were down in Texas. Sal Banner, Reggie Jackson, the rest of the A's said he'll have a tremendous year this year. Nobody's worked harder in spring training than he has. He's determined for a 20-game season. The 2-2 pitch. He tried to let up and got away from it. Now it's 3-2 to Bench.
Is that pitch he calls a slurve? You know, that half curve, half
might have been
slow curve kind of thing.
More of a pitcher now than he was in '71 when he came up as a hard thrower. There it is again. Bench just couldn't lay off the temptation. It was a high pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Bench is saying, put something on a ball. Come on.
I think that's kind of the glamour of this ball game, the All-Star game, this confrontation all night long we'll see between those great hitters and great pitchers.
3-2 delivery. The fastball rake foul. 3-2. Here's one of the highlights of the season. Johnny Bench's marriage in Cincinnati, the longest wedding list in the history of America, including the President of the United States. Most of them showed, too. Bounding ball, foul down the third base line. Bench, I think, is one of the most unusual men I've ever met in baseball. He came up with, there it is right there, you see it, a natural personality and poise.
Yeah. Super.
Acted like he was 35 years old the day he came in, and friendly and sells the game.
Likes people.
3-2 count. Let up pitch is popped up. Good pitch by Vida Blue. Campaneris is calling for it. In foul ground, he has it. The National League is retired. They had no runs, 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of the first half inning, it's no score.
Feels like my eyes collect all the dust in Shea Stadium. Sun, wind, and pollen get me too. No wonder my eyes get bloodshot. That's why I use Murine 2. It soothes my eyes and clears them up fast.
Murine 2, a name you can trust next to your eyes to soothe, refresh, and clear them up fast.
Murine 2. It's like having another right arm.
Murine 2, a name you can trust next to your eyes.
We asked Johnny Bench before the game about receiving the opposing pitchers that he hits against all year. What's it like?
Curtis, my biggest concern whenever it comes to an all-star game, I guess, is I know how many millions of people are watching, and it's always a concern of mine as to how I'm going to handle his breaking stuff, how much his fastball moves. My biggest concern is to try to get out of the game before Niekro comes in. I don't want any part of that knuckleball.
He's talking about Joe Niekro, the Atlanta Braves. He may be in there tonight, too, for Phil Niekro. Jerry Royce, 10 wins, 6 losses. 16-game winner last year, is facing Bobby Bonds, who now is in an American League uniform. Recent years in all-star games, he's been in a National League uniform. This is his first start. He appeared in 2 previous all-star games. He hits a drive to deep right. Back goes Rose. Warning track has it. First out.
Joe, Kurt, that wind's blowing in a little bit from right field. I thought that ball might go out. It's not blowing too hard, but maybe just enough to keep the ball in the ballpark.
He's got such a heavy bat and such a quick swing. It's at 37 inches, 36 ounces, that bat. And talking to him before the game, because of a leg injury, he said he was going to lay back, which would force him to hit to the opposite field, but he thought he'd have a pretty good cut at it, and he certainly did that.
Here's a man that handles a bat better than anybody in the major league right now, Rod Carew. Fouls it back. He's leading the majors with a .373 average. He's won the last 3 American League batting titles, 4 in all. And here's the trophy. He received the most votes by you fans across America. He won it going away. Rod Carew, over 3 million votes of the Minnesota Twins. Outside, he can bunt, he can beat out hits, he can spray line drives all over. And this year he's hitting more home runs. He's hit 10. A little story on that we'll tell you about. Lying inside. When I guess he went to arbitration, they pointed out that don't pay big money for singles hitters, and he said, well, I'll hit some homers this year then.
He's kind of caught in between because there you see his stance. He's got 4 different stances that he owns up to.
There's a line drive to the left fielder, Brock. The first 2 American leaguers have hit the ball hard, but right at somebody. 2 down. Thurman Munson of the Yankees hitting 3rd, batting .326 for the season. 6 homers, 55 RBIs. Munson himself says, I'm sort of dumpy looking. I'm not tall and rangy like Fisk, and I'm not graceful, and I don't do this and that. But he says, you know what? I'm a pretty good ball player.
Don't judge me by my method, judge me by my results.
He's played in 3 previous games. This is his 2nd start in a row. Carlton Fisk won the balloting last year, but injured his knee and couldn't play. Munson's had an outstanding first half of the season for the Yankees. We have no score. Last of the first inning, there are 2 down. Bases empty. Jerry Royce's pitch is high. Royce, born in St. Louis, Missouri, lives down in Santa Barbara, California. He leads the National League in shutouts, tied with Randy Jones and Messersmith. And hit by the pitch is Munson. He's on.
First breaking ball that Royce threw, he's been throwing the ball hard, fastballs. This really came way in. I guess that's about all most of these pitchers will do, Joe and Curtis. Come in and rear hard. You only got to go an inning, 2, 3 innings at the most.
Throw strikes, yeah.
Surprised me, though, that Blue threw so many changeups to bench.
Hey. Reggie Jackson, batting .244, not a high average.
He said he's going for home runs every swing, Kurt. Let's see.
Well, he didn't have much of a chance on that one as Royce knocks him down. Reggie has 18 homers, 52 RBIs. I'll never forget the one he hit in Detroit up on the light tower and the light standard on top of the roof there. Right by him. That was a home run rip. 1 ball, 1 strike to Reggie Jackson with 2 outs and Thurman Munson at first. No score. The American League batting in the last of the first inning. Jackson played deep and straight away. Foul as he swung late. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Got to be tough to see, and he's really got something, as Royce. He is rearing back, and His strategy, as Tony said, is very simple. There you see a shot of Jackson, the batter, Royce, the pitcher. Jackson's going to take home run swings, and Royce is going to throw hard strikes.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Jackson. Curveball that time. Had Jackson off balance. Just a fraction of it. Jackson's played in 5 previous games. He'll play in a lot more. He started 4 previous games also. He's played both center field and right field in all-star competition. Curveball again. Over toward the American League dugout.
You know, Royce is not paying attention to Munson over there. Munson can run for a catcher. He's a hard-type player, Munson. As you said, Kurt, he doesn't look like he's getting the job done, but you look up, he's there.
That's right. Let's watch him. Garvey off the bag against him. A ball and 2 strikes to Jackson. He struck him out. Caught looking. A beautiful pitch to the inside corner. No runs, no hits, 1 left. At the end of 1, nothing. Here are 4 different shots of Vida Blue taking his warm-up pitches.
That's about the way it must look to some hitters, too, boy. Where's it coming from?
And we're going to have a parade of Dodgers up in the second now. It'll be Steve Garvey, Jim Wynn, and Ron Say. Garvey, ball 1 to him, consistency is the best term to describe Garvey. Hitting .318, 11 homers, 56 runs batted in. There's a long drive. That one's deep. It is going. It is gone. A home run. The league has jumped off to a 1-0 lead, and Garvey is making a bid to win the Most Valuable Player Award of the All-Star Game again. He won it last year.
Look at that short, compact swing again. Looked like a fastball, a little bit up and in. Let's watch it. There it is, about bell high. Did he jump on? Look at the expression. He knows it's gone, Joe.
And look at that follow-through, and there's the enthusiasm. It always tickles me when players say it's just another game. It's not just another game when you act like that. Those are little boys in there.
Jimmy Wynn was going to the left field seats also as he followed him. Wynn's average .270, 14 homers, 44 RBIs. You know, usually have the parade of quotes just before the All-Star game. Oh, I don't really want to play. I'd rather rest. We were in St. Louis, Joe, Saturday, and Tony and I said to Jim, you want to go there? He says, sure I do. He said, I don't know why he even said it. He said, it's a great honor. Curve, there's a high drive in the deep left. Rudy's backing up. That one is gone. It sort of kept sailing. Back-to-back home runs by Dodgers. Steve Garvey and Jimmy Wynn.
Look at that bench. They're all waiting for Jimmy Wynn.
And
The Dodgers are getting so far in the All-Star game as we look at again what they've lacked the first part of the season. Lack of offense. Wynn knows it.
He's watching it all the way. Look at that, man. He wanted to replay.
here's Ron Say. Let's see what he does. Back-to-back home runs by Garvey and Wynn. The National League's out in front 2-0. They've won 11 of the last 12. 3 in a row. Blue has been rocked here. Busby's warming up in the American League bullpen. We pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC television network. And the pitch is a ball 3. No strikes to Ron Say. They had 2 singles off Blue in the first inning, and now 2 homers in the second. 3-0 delivery. There's a smash in the left field, a base hit. 3 hits in succession.
Let him hit 3-0. You think Mr. Alston is turning them loose?
So we're looking down in the American League dugout to Alvin Dart. There's Dart.
That's Mr. Kissinger, Secretary.
The Secret Service man, I believe, right
that's
next
his
to the
team.
dugout. Here's Dave Concepcion of the Cincinnati Reds, hitting .265, 3 homers, 37 RBI. They say he's been hitting the ball hard lately, but right at somebody. Say at first, no outs. Curve is over for a strike. 2-0, National League ahead. Secretary of State with the Commissioner of Baseball talking over the home runs and the National League hitting right now. That's a pop foul. That'll be in back of the National League dugout, out of play. And Blue jumps ahead of him, 2 strikes. Jerry Royce, the pitcher, will be up next. No designated batter in the All-Star game or in the World Series. The pitcher's hit. The 0-2 delivery. Break on the corner. Concepcion is caught looking. That's the first out in the top of the second. And here's Royce, the National League pitcher, coming up. Well, let's see now what the strategy will be. Will he be bunting, trying to get Say down to second with the top of the order, Pete Rose coming up. Nettles is in on the grass at third. This is not an artificial surface. Very few of them in the American League. The bunt's on. Blue is going to whirl and go to second. It's in time there. They knocked Say out at second base. Campaneris took the throw from the pitcher Blue. Royce is at first.
Let's look at Nettles again coming in. Royce tried to bunt away from him. A good fielding play by Vida Blue to get Say, who had a good jump.
Here's a different angle. Watch Blue. He kind of stumbles as he throws that ball. Here's a pretty good call right there, folks.
Right, that was a lot closer than
yes, it was.
Appeared that it was going to be. All right, here's the top of the order, and Pete Rose singled his first time. Rose has got a challenge to you and me, Tony.
What's that?
Ball. That's a foul ball off his bat handle for a strike. Remember, we were talking about Ted Simmons may be the best switch hitter in the major leagues right now with his high average both ways. Rose said, I've got to get going. Catch up with Simmons. I'm going to show you guys. That one's deep into right field. Twisting toward the corner. It's a fair ball and is grabbed out there by Reggie Jackson, who played it very well. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. End of an inning and a half.
It's Action Times 2 on NBC. First, Jim Rockford opens a case the police want closed. That means big trouble. Then see Angie Dickinson as policewoman Friday night.
That's an interesting shot. Billy Martin, coaching at first for the American League, who has trouble with the American League umpire, is telling his tales of woe to 2 National League umpires, Chris Pellicudis and John McSherry, as if they care. They got their own problem over their own league.
Whatever he said, Tony, he got about 7 on the laugh meter.
Well, you recall the last time we saw Martin and the Rangers in Texas, he had the conversation mic'd at home plate.
With Luciano, that's right.
Here's a man that Mickey Mantle described as a winner when he watched him on television. He's certainly right. Joe Rudy, leading off for the American League. The strike to him. Rudy is playing left field tonight. He's been playing first base for the A's this season. He's hitting .279, 11 homers, and 50 RBI. He plays his best ball in spotlight contests.
I like Reggie Jackson's description. You talk about a lot of turmoil on that Oakland club. He says Joe Rudy's a misfit. He gets along with everybody.
He never says anything.
That's right. He just goes out there and gets the job done.
The 1-1 pitch is hit foul down the right field line. You know, it's an interesting story. Alvin Dark said, I said, where is Rudy better in left field and first base? He said, much better. I said, is Tennis better at first and catching? He said, much better. I said, why you both got him out of position? Well, that's the way it has to be in our ball club, he said.
That's a great explanation.
Joe Rudy leading off. And here's a sharply hit ball to third. Pepper Martin style, played by Ron Say, and Rudy's out, 1 down.
Tony, you guys follow that ball right off your chest into the glove.
Never tried to catch it off my chest.
Yeah, but you did off your Adam's apple.
Yeah, I tried that. Looks like a juggler. Marcel Marceau. You know, I think that third base position has changed, not so much on the grass, but on artificial surface, it's tough to catch a ball off your chest. Although this is natural grass, of course.
Jerry Royce now a pitch to Greg Nettles, hitting .284 with the Yankees, 14 homers, 55 runs batted in. He wasn't figuring much in the balloting up until about 3 weeks ago, and he got quite a surge. Kubek.
Don't get me in trouble.
He was the campaign manager. He was the campaign manager.
There's a high fly in the right field. Under it is Pete Rose, and Pete puts it away. He plays everywhere. right field, second base. He played his first All-Star game. He's played left field in recent years for the Reds. And when they moved him to third base this year, the Reds started to go.
Right.
2 down, nobody on. Gene Tennis up. We're just trying to figure the last back-to-back home runs in an All-Star game. We'll tell you about it in a minute. Pitch is outside by Royce to Gene Tennis, who's hitting .272 with 14 homers for the A's this year. Garvey and Wynn have had back-to-back home runs in the second inning here tonight, and the last back-to-back homers were by Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle off Warren Spahn back in 1956.
They really are playing Tennis to pull. Concepcion is just taking the hole away from Tennis. He's moved over to almost next to Ronce.
The 2-0 pitch. Sinker ball by Royce that time. 2-1.
That smattering of boos you heard for Tennis, and it happened when he was introduced pregame, is because the fans here wanted George Scott to make that position.
Ground ball booted by Concepcion. It's short.
Took a bad hop.
I did. Just as he went to get it, the ball took that funny
Rang the
upbeat
bell
going.
right there.
Yes, sir. That was clang time.
Oh. You know, this field is really in pretty good shape. A couple of weeks ago, they had, well, 2 rock concerts on this field, but they re-sodded most of the field. Here is the play again. Concepcion gets a little flat-footed, back on his heels. You know, we've talked about some players in that 55 game. Concepcion is from Venezuela. In the 55 ball game, another Venezuelan player, Chico Carrascal, had 2 for 3 in that ball game.
You know, on this the Dodgers, there's Walter Alston, the Dodger manager.
That's Phil Buehler,
right.
the trainer.
Every member of the starting team, except the pitcher, Royce, and Brock, are in the Eastern Division of the National League. You have 2 Dodgers in the corners, Say and Garvey at third and first. You have Concepcion and Morgan at short and second from the Reds. And here's on deck, Henry Aaron's going to be sent up to bat. Pinch hit for pitcher Vida Blue.
I don't think the fans realize it yet, Kurt.
No.
Fans here in the ballpark. There'll be some kind of roar when he goes in.
They scored an error against Concepcion on that play. 2 outs. Tennis at first. Campaneris the batter. Fouled away. In the All-Star rules, the starting 8 must go at least 3 innings. Must play the first 3 innings. They can play the whole game if the manager wants them to. But they have to play at least 3 innings.
Stark's plans were not to have any of his pitchers hit because of the designated. He didn't want everybody getting hit by a pitch ball and get hurt.
Ball and a strike. Campaneris batting .268. Been in a hot streak lately. Hank Aaron on deck. That pitch tailed away from him. A ball and 2 strikes. There's Aaron, the home run king of all time. 20 years later. Back again. An All-Star game in County Stadium. What an ironic twist. High and away. 2-2 to Campaneris. With 2 out, Gene Tennis at first.
Royce continues to throw very hard.
He's become the ace of the Pirate staff. That ball's hit into right field. Tennis is easing up at second. On first base is Campanera, and here comes Aaron. And here's the ovation. Standing ovation. This is the 24th All-Star game for Hank, tying him with Willie Mays and Stan Musial for the most All-Star games played. 2 on, 2 out, a ball to him. This year, the designated batter is hitting .236, 9 homers, 36 runs batted in. We saw him hit one off Nolan Ryan in this park that was something against the wind. There's a fastball strike, 1-1. Gene Tennis is at second base. Bert Campaneris is at first. The National League's ahead 2-0 on back-to-back home runs by Steve Garvey and Jim Wynn. Bobby Bonds on deck. Broken back. Line drive. They're safe, and it's a trap ball. They called it a trap ball. Now they're appealing.
Fleming's calling
It is a line
now.
drive.
Bruce Fleming is now saying that he did catch it before it hit the
I
ground.
thought it was a line drive, and it was. Concepcion caught the ball, and that's all at the end of 2 innings, 2-0 National League. Here's that Henry Aaron line drive. Let's see. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you, that was close. Concepcion thought he had it
He
at
got
first,
it,
and
guys.
then Bruce Fleming, the third base umpire, said, yeah, you did get it. But I think Concepcion was fooled because Henry was sawed off so badly. Splinters of the bat flew in the direction of Concepcion at shortstop, and he couldn't pick the ball up.
That was a very tough call, and the third base umpire, Bruce Fleming, made the final decision on it. He had the best angle.
I think he got it in the webbing.
Well, the new pitcher is Steve Busby for the American League, who's won 11 and lost 7 this year. Earned run average of 2.64. Lives in Linda, California, born in Burbank. He's a cousin of Jim Busby, the Atlanta coach. He attended USC, who turns out so many outstanding collegiate players that go on into Major League Baseball. He's pitched 2 no-hitters in the major leagues, against the Tigers in '73, against Milwaukee last year. Here are the coaches. Red Schoendienst is coaching at third for the National League, and the canny Irishman, Danny Murtaugh, over at first.
He's some piece of work, isn't he?
Oh.
What a guy.
He's made
Both
more
of them.
comebacks than any show business personality. Lou Brock starts it off, third inning. The National League ahead 2-0. Brock, Morgan, and Bench. Foul away. Brock, his first time up, fly to left. Busby last pitched on Thursday. Went all the way, losing 3-2 to the Tigers. The American League staff has rested. It may not have been in order, but a very strong recommendation by American League President Lee McPhail. Don't work your pitchers on Sunday, you managers. Let's go in there and try and win one. Ball and a strike to Lou Brock. Blue was cuffed around. In 2 innings, he gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both homers. 1-2.
Tony, is it just me? But look at his bat. Doesn't it look a little more yellow than normal, like it's been soaked in oil or something?
Isn't that what they call a Harry Walker bat, where they used to dip it in a certain kind of paint or shellac?
Yeah, but that's not two-tone.
There's a shot in the gap. Rudy very quickly up. Brock makes his turn. And now we'll see the all-time holder of the base stealing record in 1 year. 118 last year, Lou Brock go to work. And already the crowd, even though he's a National Leaguer, then go, go. Brock tied with Cedeno for second in the National League in stolen bases with 36.
He's got to be careful, though. That Busby's got a great move. He's probably got the best move for a right-handed pitcher I've seen, and he's liable to pick him right off.
Joe Morgan, single to center his first time. What a pair of this is there. Brock at first and Morgan at the bat. Morgan can pull the ball behind the runner. He could dump one. He could drag. He could go for power. And an extra base hit could score Brock from first. Brock gets about a 3.5 step lead. That's all he wants, he says. Quick move.
Ball.
Balk.
Hell,
Balk has been called on Steve Busby.
This is the one they've been calling a lot this year, where that right-handed pitcher just pivots on that left heel. You've got to step toward the bag and throw. You can't pivot and then step after you throw. Deceiving the base runner.
Now, Morgan for sure will be trying to hit that ball to the right side. And move Brock to third, at least, or get him in. They're still even with the bags at the corners. Just a little high on outside.
Reggie Jackson in right field is playing very shallow.
I'd say so.
Ooh.
Joe can hit that ball over his head. He's had 13 homers this year. For a little fella, amazing power. The 1-0 delivery coming up to Joe Morgan with Brock at second, nobody out. That was a breaking pitch down.
You got to believe that Jackson figures if he gets a hold of that ball with the kind of power he's got, it's going to be in the seats anyhow. And if he smashes one on the ground, he'll have a play at the plate. And so he's going to gamble. He's given up an awful lot of ground behind him, but he's a gambling outfielder.
The 2-0 pitch.
Look out, second base.
Good pitch by Busby. Breaking pitch behind 2-0. There's Brock at second. He singled, went to second on a balk. Nobody out. National League ahead 2-0. We're in the top of the third inning. Morgan hits a high pop to first baseman Gene Tennis. Takes it in foul ground. There's one down. Brock holding at second. Johnny Bench fouled to third his first time up. We've had only 2 previous balks in All-Star games. Bob Friend in 1960 and Old Turkey Neck Stu Miller in 1961.
But you remember that one in Candlestick Park? It blew him off the mound.
Yogi was hitting. I played in that game. That's the one where Kenny Boyer made all the errors. The wind was swooshing ground balls around in the infield. Balls were bouncing over guys' heads. Wind pushed.
Johnny Bench up. Brock at second. Brock usually there. He starts a dash. Brock doesn't steal third much. Most of his steals last year, his record-breaking season, were the second.
Caruso was standing on the second base bag trying to hold him close.
He stole third base only 6 times last year and was caught stealing at third twice, so he made only 8 attempts all year.
Here he goes.
There it goes. There's a throw. Wide. He's in there. Brock steals third. He got a good jump on Busby.
Here's Lou Brock. Busby at a little disadvantage as he's not able to work his pickoff plays to bases with men from opposing teams. Munson got rid of the ball quickly, but there's no chance. Now the infield forced to come in.
That's what they come to say to the men do what they do best. Brock has just done it. The infield in now with 1 out. The National League already leading 2-0. Johnny Bench the batter. Holds up on a sharp breaking curve. It's a 2-1 count to Johnny Bench. Steve Garvey's on deck.
Reggie Smith was agitating over on the National League bench. He had a towel. He was waving Brock to come on over and see us.
The 3-0 delivery. There's a base hit. Brock comes in to score. Bench will make the turn. Rudy may hold him to a single. He does. 3-0 National League as they continue to hammer away.
Bench leading the National League in doubles. Let's look again at the last time that Garvey came to the plate, and here's that home run.
And this was really blasted, Joe.
Yes, it was. No doubt about it. Fastball, Mr. Class.
Steve Garvey up again. All-Star most valuable player, the National League's most valuable player, and a Gold Glove first baseman in his first year of the regular. Busby had him going for that curveball.
I tell you guys, if I had to build a ball player, I'd use this guy as a blueprint, because all you got to do is just start him on the field. He's going to hit you 300, going to drive you into runs, and going to give you no trouble at all off the field.
Never misses a game.
That's right.
1 ball, 1 strike. Jim went on deck. I couldn't believe some of the stories we were reading last week about supposedly, and I say supposedly, some of his teammates criticized him because he was such a nice guy.
Signing autographs.
1 ball, 2 strikes, yeah.
Talking to the people, going to banquets.
Doing things that he should be doing.
What's this world coming to when you got to defend yourself because you're a good guy?
1 ball, 2 strikes.
I bet you turn him upside down and you find a good housekeeping seal on his feet.
He bounces this one foul. 1 and 2. Bench will go back to first base.
Oh, Red.
Shane Dean's played here in Milwaukee. Helped him to a pennant. Played after... Is that the year after he had tuberculosis?
When he was here, yes. What a battle that was, and he won it.
The National League's leading 3-0 in the top of the third inning. Garvey asking for time. Jim Wynn's on deck. 7 hits already for the National League, and there's the toy cannon. Not much of a lead for Bench. Garvey still has the count of 1-2. The National League has won 11 of the last 12, winning 8 in a row from 63 through 70. They lost in 71. Vida Blue was the winning pitcher in that game. And the National League has won the last 3. That ball's hit hard in the left. That's 2 for 2 for Steve Garvey. Came in here where they're hitting clothes on tonight. 3 hits this inning off Busby. Now here's Jimmy Wynn's home run. Tony Kubek his last time up.
Off Vida Blue once again. He got about the same pitch, maybe a little bit more over the plate than the one Garvey hit. Didn't hit it quite as good.
That one sort of floated in.
Yeah.
Jimmy Wynn. The runners on first and second, 1 out. 8 hits for the Nationals. Maybe a double play. They've got 1. Over they go to first. Wide. Caru's throw is high and pulled tennis off the bag. He had a tough pivot at second.
Threw a little bit off balance. The ball might have gotten stuck in his glove. Remember, he got tore up a couple of years ago, that knee, when somebody really belted him. Garvey got down quickly with men on first and second. A nice play by Gino.
Tony, looked like he didn't get to that bag in the way he should have. He was off balance when he took the throw.
He did. I don't know what happened, Joe. He threw off the wrong foot.
Yeah,
the
that
ball
was there
in the
plenty
webbing
of
of his
time.
glove.
I guess that's why they say you can never anticipate a double play. It looks like a double play ball.
Well, that was definitely, I think, a double play ball, Kurt. And for some reason, Carew seemed to be there waiting, and that might have, the timing was off. But then, without sounding making an alibi, obviously they haven't played together, and it gets to be a thing where you know what the other guy's going to do. And here, sometimes
they've been talking
you
out there.
They have to be.
Carew went over and talked to Campaneris. All right, that was Wes Stock, the American League pitching coach, out talking to Steve Busby. Over at third is Johnny Bench. At first base is Jim Wynn. There are 2 down. The National League's ahead 3-0, top of the third. Ron Sayup, he singled to left field his first time. That breaking pitch darting blown away for a ball. Rich Gossage of the White Sox is warming up now for the American League. 3 Dodgers had 3 hits in a row in the second inning. Moved to first.
That's the one our cameraman had so much fun
right.
with in that last Monday night game we did.
Jack McKeon tried that in Kansas City and picked 2 of our cameramen off. They've been working out, though. He won't get them the next time.
1-0 to Ron Say. He hits a fly ball to left fielder Rudy. Back he goes.
Oh.
What a grab by Rudy. That's the kind of plays he makes in the World Series all the time.
He actually misjudged the ball. He started in and then had to really backtrack fast. But he recovered very well to save another run or maybe 2.
So the National League picked up a run at the end of 2.5. It's 3-0 National League. Milwaukee County Stadium could have sold 100,000 seats for this game tonight. Our handheld camera high above. And Bobby Bonds has a curved strike. Joe Garagiola, this Royce has been impressive tonight. Only 1 hit off him so far.
There's our mini cam from the roof, and I guess that's Corey Leibel who's there. Kurt, it's an interesting story on this Royce, besides his arm. And by that I mean he wanted to know the answer of why am I so good in the bullpen and not so good in the game, and he went to a hypnotist, a fellow named Arthur Allen, who helped Don Sutton. And when you talk to him about it, Royce says we talked it over. He put me in a trance, and he taught me to squeeze my finger when I felt tension. It's his thumb and against his middle finger, and that seems to relieve it. And then when he gets down to the bottom line, he said, if I got good stuff, I'll win.
Boy, he had some great curves there he threw Bobby Bonds. He just kept throwing him breaking stuff. Bonds had flied out to deep right his first time. That's strikeout number 2 for Jerry Royce. Rod Carew lined to left field. Rod Carew wife's expecting a baby any time. And so he had his mother-in-law and his 2-year-old daughter come down to the game, and his wife's home. A peace of quiet tonight watching the game. The astronauts up there flying around someplace with a beautiful moon over Milwaukee tonight. Typical Rod Carew pumping the ball through. I'd say right now, if anybody in the majors of the active players that we know going to hit 400 again, the way Williams did in 41, it would be Carew. But every year it gets later for him. He loses some speed and beating out infield hits a bunch.
He might have that kind of chance on 6 artificial surfaces in the National League, but I don't think there's anybody in baseball who gets the fat part of the bat on the ball more often than Carew. Last year at All-Star game time, he was up around 380. This year he's only hitting about 370.
Rod Carew's at first base, 1 out. The National League's ahead 3-0. We're in the last of the third here in Milwaukee. Thurman Munson was hit by a pitch ball his first time up. Garvey holding at first. That curve hung high to Munson. Reggie Jackson scheduled up next. 1-1 count.
You know, you like to talk to young pitchers like Royce because he come out of St. Louis. I remember Stan was talking about it last night, said how different he went from just a kid who was so bewildered to a kid who thought he knew it all, now back to this mature pitcher that he is.
Munson didn't want to go for that ball. Checked his swing and fouled it away. Well, I'll tell you what kind of a year he's having. Joe Antoni's told you tied with shutouts before Randy Jones and Messersmith. And his earned run average of 2.23 is third behind Seaver and Messersmith. So he's pitching low-hit games, low-run games, giving the Pirates a big year. One of the reasons why they lead the Eastern Division of the National League. He's ahead of Thurman Munson, 1-2, with Carew at first, 1 out. High fly ball hoisted to center. Jim Wynn will be there. Easy play for him. 2 down. Reggie Jackson took a called third strike his first time up. And his teammate Joe Rudy will come out on deck.
Royce, the last time up, just blew the ball by Jackson. It'll be interesting to see now if he goes for the curveball. Tries to get him out on off-speed stuff.
Jackson's tied for second in the American League in homers. A ball to him with Jeff Burroughs of the Rangers, 18. Bonds is the leader with 20. Never thought I'd ever see an outfield of Bonds, a San Francisco Giant player in the middle, played by Oakland A's players. Rudy and Jackson, did you?
No.
But that's the way it is tonight. You never know about baseball.
Do you think Jackson wants this pitch, Joe?
Oh.
2-0?
Inside to him, ball 3.
You think he wants this one?
3-0.
Look at him looking at the coach. If he'd get the take sign there, a shock would set in.
There's the home run leaders. Mayberry up there, 2. There are the home run leaders. He went for it. 3-1.
He said, I'm not coming all the way from Oakland to take 3-0. That's a real great situation, boy. That's that room service pitch. Hello, room service. 3-0. Fat fastball right here. Big crowd.
3-1. Wouldn't be surprised to see Royce throw him a curveball right here. Let's see. Oh, boy, he blew a fastball. That's as hard as he can throw.
Yes, sir. That'll break your glove in one pitch right there.
Benches. Did you see Bench nodding his head on that one? 3-2 to Jackson. 2 down. Carew will be going on the pitch. He'll get a big lead. There he goes. Bounding ball hit the short. Here's the throw to first. He's got it beaten. The shortstop, Concepcion, was playing Jackson over by second base and had to go over in the hole for that.
Seeing that great combination in Reggie Jackson that so many of the modern baseball players have. Power, strength, and great speed. Dave always comes up with a fine play, but Jackson can run.
Well, the American League has runners on first and second, 2 out. They've had 2 hits off Royce this inning. The National League's ahead 3-0. Home runs by Garvey and Jim Wynn in the second inning, and Bench singled in the third run in the third. Rudy rounded to third his first time up. Fastball's away from him, 1-0. Greg Nettles is on deck. Playing Rudy, a couple of steps toward left, but he can use the entire ballpark. He'll hit with power to right center. Line away, especially those pitches out over the plate.
Why isn't Rose plugging that gap too, Kurt, just to pick up on what you just said? He does hit a lot in right center. He's playing him pretty much straight away in right
They
field.
left quite a gap in right center for him. 2 balls and no strikes to Joe Rudy. He was one of the best clutch hitters in the game. Most of his hits are meaningful. He leads the A's in game-winning hits this year. 2 balls, no strikes. At second base is Carew. At first base is Jackson. Foul into the seats, 2-1.
You know, the one thing that Pete Rose worried about in the pregame workout yesterday and again today is the fact that he has not been in right field for so many years. He said, I'm going to have to get help from somebody. Tell me where to go. And he's going to rely on Reggie Smith, and he said Joe Morgan to move him around.
Well, I got to believe right now where he's playing him, he's out of position.
I met his wife and youngsters before the game. The youngster's as big as he is now. He's about 4 years old. Boy, he's chunky. The 2-1 pitch. There's a bounding ball to short. Concepcion, long throw to first. In time. That Concepcion could really play shortstop. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Into 3, 3-0 National League. There are the 2 managers, Alvin Dark. He managed the National League team to an all-star victory once. And Walter Alston. 8 times previously he's managed all-star teams. Concepcion leading off, just made that fine play. And he lines a base hit into left field. The National League keeps hammering away. And coming up now, we'll have a pinch hitter for Jerry Royce. It's like Bob Watson, who scored the 1 millionth run in the history of baseball this year. Walter Alston has more all-star victories than any other manager, 6. Here is a player I want to see what you fellas think. I think does not really get the credit nationally he deserves, Bob Watson.
Al, there's no doubt about it, Kurt. He has had a fine year. He's quiet. He doesn't talk a lot. He's really a very Christian man, too, and he does a lot of things. And here we'll see the 1 millionth home run is scored by Bob Watson.
1 millionth run. Right.
The loudest that I've ever heard him, Kurt, is when he put that uniform on.
Runner on first. It's Concepcion. There he goes. Hit and run. Throw. Out. Rod Carew took the peg. Munson can really get rid of the ball.
He sidearmed that ball, actually. That's not a picture throw, but by Munson's own admission, he says, I'm not a picture kind of player. A good jump. But as Munson and Kurt said, got rid of that ball, and the tag, Concepcion claims the tag was high, but Carew gave it a nice, light, feathery touch, kind of pickpocket version. Watch this throw. Sidearm. That looked like a wet page from the baseball primer.
Not supposed to do that?
Not supposed to do
But
it.
it works.
But don't judge me on my method, on my
Right.
results.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bob Watson. 5th in batting in the National League with 326. High fly to Joe Rudy in left. Plenty of room. 2 down. And to the top of the order we go. And now Rose will be hitting left. He singled right-handed in the first inning and flying out right-handed in the second. 1 out of 2.
You know, Munson kind of reminds me of great Ernie Lombardi, the way he threw it, in many ways. I mean, Ernie would just flip that ball and look like you're going to beat it, and you couldn't steal on him.
Pete Rose tied with Garvey for second in the majors in base hits. Hits a line shot to Campanera. That was a quick inning. At the end of 3.5, it's the National League 3, the American League nothing. The Dodgers' 13-game winner, Donald Howard Sutton, 30 years old, comes to the mound now. Starting his warm-up pitches. He last pitched on Tuesday, 6 innings at Pittsburgh. Look at that new hairstyling this year.
That's the permanent. You know, there's a tie-in with Royce. It was Sutton who went to visit the hypnotist first, and Royce saw a movies of Sutton before he went and after he went. He said just the look on his face. Number one, before he went, he said it was a look of a pitcher confused, and then after he went for a couple visits, he said it was a look of a pitcher who was in complete control of himself. And he said, that's the way I want it to be. And so Royce went, and results have so far proven that it was a good trip.
Sutton will face Greg Nettles, and Greg Nettles was running low in the balloting for third base in the American League. He came on strong the last week, as Kurt mentioned. We talked to Greg, and we offered our congratulations to him.
Thank you, Tony. It's a big thrill for me, and I'm also thrilled that the fans appreciated that season I'm having, and it's something I've always looked forward to, and I hope to play in many more games.
All right, Greg Nettles leads it off in the last of the fourth. The American League's behind 3-0. It'll be Nettles, Tennis, and Campaneris. The strike, we have a couple of caps on now, and Mrs. Kissinger and Mr. Secretary. Dodger and Milwaukee caps. There's a drive and a right by Nettles for a base hit. Back to the ball game. Gene Tennis reached in an error his first time. We have 4 13-game winners in the major leagues this year. Jim Cott, Jim Palmer, Tom Seaver, and Don Sutton. Gene Tennis. He's being booed because he beat out George Scott, the hometown favorite. In fact, Scott's credentials for finishing 6th in the balloting, a little unbelievable. He's having a great year here in Milwaukee, George C. Scott.
If you don't think so, just ask him.
Right.
He's something.
Foul out of play, 1-1. Reggie Jackson could make a fortune on the vaudeville tour imitating him, couldn't he?
You know what Scott said to Jackson now? He said, hey, Jack, how could you be here hitting 247? He said, you don't belong here.
1-1 pitch to Tennis. 2-1. National League had 2 homers in the second. Wynn and Garvey. Bench singled in a run in the third, and that's been it. Campaneris will be up next. High fly out in a shallow left. Lubrock. 1 down.
I think it's interesting when you look at some of the players who are not here at the All-Star game. A lot of the power hitters from the American League are not here. You look at the number 2, 3, and 4 RBI men in the American League. Horton and Rice are tied, and Lee May, 4th. They're not here. The American League's leading base stealer's not here. Mickey Rivers. 2 of the 4 top home run hitters are not here. Mayberry and Burroughs. So it's a tough American League squad when you can leave those men off it.
Campaneris singled his first time. That's a strike to him, a sharp breaking curveball. And we're going to have a pinch hitter.
Hargrove, the Rangers.
For the Rangers, Mike Hargrove. Which means a new American League pitcher coming on in the 5th. Jim Cott's warming up in the American League bullpen.
It's going to be fun to see him come in and see how these National Leaguers react to that no windup. There's Hargrove. A quick pitch by Cott.
Ooh, back to the box. It's a base hit. Nettles is out. Better hold. Nettles started the 3rd, then wisely decided to hold up. Jim Wynn had his elbow operated on, and they take little liberties on him.
Here's a low center field camera angle. This is what it looked like. You can see the reaction, self-defense on the part of Sutton. Who says the All-Stars don't try? Look at David Concepcion, who's had 2 good plays already, and he almost made another one diving for that ball.
Here's a tough out coming up. Mike Hargrove. He's batting .338, 3rd in the American League. He's had 8 homers and 32 runs batted in, but he makes contact.
Joe, he told me to tell you to watch the chinkers.
Yeah, I told him. I said, listen, boy, you're going to end up in a dictionary. Chinkers. Those are those polite hits that don't bend the grass when they land.
Mike Hargrove batting. 25 years old. 4th pro year. Hit over 300 last year. He was the Rookie of the Year in the American League last year. American League keeps threatening but hasn't scored yet. Sutton crowds him. They had a couple of hits in the third. Stan Musial, the honorary captain. And they had 2 hits here in the 4th inning. They had 2 men on in the 2nd. National League keeps pitching out of trouble. There's a high blast in the deep right center. Rose says, I've got room, makes the catch, the tag at second. Nettles comes to third. And the American League has runners on first and third as Hargrove nearly reached the stands, but not quite. 2 down. At the top of the order, Mickey Mantle, the honorary captain of the American League. So, well, you got that. You gave it a good cut, kid. Of course, not quite the way I used to, but...
That's a pretty good study of the interest that these ball players have. I think they're like fans in many ways, Tony. I never played an all-star game, but I watched in batting practice. Different guys were hitting. Activity would stop because they hadn't seen the guy play, and they want to watch him do anything.
I sat with Mantle and Musial yesterday in the lobby, and Fred Lynn came in, and I'll tell the end of the story in a moment.
Bobby Bonds, there's a throw to first. He's out. They got him. 90 pitch. Has picked Campaneris off. So again, the American League left men on. At the end of 4, it's 3-0 National League.
The All-Star Game, one of the action highlights of Major League Baseball. This year's All-Star action takes place in Milwaukee. To commemorate the 1975 All-Star Game, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn has selected the Balfour Company to present this Golden Saddle ring to each of the All-Star players and coaches. All-Star action and tradition. Get with Major League Baseball.
The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball. Here's a real human interest story. A man that looked like he was washed up. 20-game winner last year. He's coming back, headed for a 20-game season this year. Jim Cott, the veteran now of the Chicago White Sox. The story on him is his quick pitch.
I tell you, he just gets the ball and he throws it. Looks like there's not too much on it, but that's really false security because he's zipping that ball in it pretty good.
And Joe Coleman tried it with the Detroit Tigers against the White Sox. Maybe it's the coming thing. Remember when the no wind-up delivery came in with Turley and Larson? Coleman tried it, shut out. But Detroit for 7 1/3 innings.
In the old days, guys would wind up like a windmill and kick high. Now it's everything is being abbreviated.
Let's take a look at that last play. Bobby Bonds, the leading home run hitter in the American League, and Campy takes a little too much liberty. Ordinarily an excellent base runner, but with Bonds up, well, you might call it not too good a base running, I guess, to put it mildly.
The American League is threatened the last 3 innings, and he's gone out of there.
Wasn't even close, was it?
Nope.
Lou Brock has flied to left and single. Bounding ball to Campaneris. Over to tennis, 1 down. Now watch Cotton, how quickly he's going to work. He'll get that ball back, and he just takes it and flips it right back like a dart thrower to the plate. Joe Morgan is single and fouled out. I'm sure the National League's been warned about him. And Morgan's taking his time getting in. They may be stepping out on him.
He's ready. Look at him. He's loaded, boy.
He's geared to go.
He's ready.
Cott's 36 years old. His second All-Star game. Wait a minute. No pitch. Morgan had asked for time, was out of there. That's the strategy. So don't let this guy quick pitch you now. A ball.
You know, I would think that would make you very anxious at the plate. Like you'd be kind of pressing to be ready.
You're timing a pitcher's delivery. Remember how Yogi used to sway that bat to and fro across the plate, timing the wind-up? Well, it's eliminated in this, and the ball's on you quickly. There goes
Morgan asked
again,
for time again, you see. The count is really 2-0. They have a 3-0 count on the scoreboard. That's twice Morgan's backed out on him. The Cott's used to this. Pop up. Third baseman Nettles. Directing the traffic was Cott, the pitcher, said Nettles' ball. It's 2 down.
We talked to Jimmy Cott before the ballgame and asked him if this no windup or quick pitch delivery is the coming trend among pitchers.
Well, I think it's proven to a number of pitchers, myself included, that there's more than one way to deliver the ball, and that this has a great effect on throwing the hitter's timing off. And I think if a a pitcher can do it and keep his stuff and his rhythm, it's going to be a great weapon.
Quite a story, this fella. There's a foul, and that was it. What a changeup.
Look at Johnny. Johnny said, throw it again. He got a smile. Give it to me again, he said.
1-1 pitch. Very blasted. That was going to be a foul ball down the left field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Shades of Rip Sewell, that Eva's pitch. He's talking to himself. That Connie's got these guys talking and answering themselves.
Cott's ready to go again.
Well, Cott's also an excellent fielding pitcher. He's won a Gold Glove winner in each of the last 13 seasons.
He did give it to him.
That drives out to Rooney. Didn't take Mr. Cott long, did it? 3 up and 3 down. And we're halfway through the 75 All-Star game with a score of the National League 3 American. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the first half of this game. Home runs by Garvey and Wynn. Bench single and a run. The American League's had their chances. Can't crack through. We've got some changes. And to take you the rest of the way play-by-play and to give you the changes, Mr. Joe Garagiola. Joe?
Okay, Kurt, the changes will be in the outfield. We've got Pete Rose moving over to left field. Jim Wynn comes out, and Reggie Smith of the Cardinals goes into center field. And in right field, it's Bobby Mercer of the San Francisco Giants. That's the new outfield. Mercer will be batting second. Smith bats sixth. Bobby Bonds, strike 1. Remember, he was the batter when Johnny Bench picked Campaneris off. One ball, 1 strike. 3-0. We've had all kinds of plays here. Pickoff plays, diving stops, home runs. Curveball misses. $51,480. Boy, that says it all. All-time County Stadium high. Well hit. Rose is going to have a tough play, and he makes it. Oh, that Pete Rose, brother. I tell you, they use an expression to describe him. They say that he's Mr. Hustle, and when he takes his shoes off, they still go for 10 minutes. Watch this, Tony.
The ball's sinking a lot. Remember, Pete just came over from right field. He's played most of this season at third base, and he still does the job for you in the outfield.
Now, here's quite a shift for him. He first time from right to left field, the ball's at him at a different angle. He's got it, makes his tumbling grab.
His body
comes up with it.
His body took a bad hop. Look at that. He caught that ball and held on to it. Fantastic play by Pete Rose. Oh, I love to see those plays because it kind of gripes me when I hear people say, oh, it's just another game. Here's Carew. Right to Morgan. 2 outs. What a play by Pete Rose. That ball by Bonds was really hit hard. Next Saturday, Milwaukee at Chicago and Atlanta at New York. We've seen in Milwaukee and Chicago. So that's the Saturday baseball, 2 o'clock. There it is. Milwaukee versus the White Sox. And in Milwaukee and in Chicago, you'll see Atlanta and the Mets. Right here on NBC, 2 o'clock Saturday. Here's Munson. He was hit by a pitch and flying to center field. Base hit. Rose is up with it.
Cincinnati Reds players have been more in the dirt than they've been on their feet. That's about the 3rd time for Dave, once for Rose. He just misses it. Munson difficult to play. He was playing him a little bit up the middle, but Thurman really sprays the ball around.
Conception's big asset is the range he covers. He's tall. We're going to have a runner coming in here now.
Claudell Washington.
He just has gone through some tests. He had some dizzy spells. He's only 20 years old and one of the coming superstars of baseball. The tests were all negative. They've given him a clean bill of health, much to the relief of the Oakland A's.
It's too bad it's a 3-0 National League lead, or we'd see this fella running because Claudell can run. He may go anyhow.
Garvey playing behind him, you never know.
There he goes. No chance. If he gets him, it'll be a miracle. Garvey was playing behind him, and Claudell said, if you want to give it to me, well, I'll sign up for it and take it. And he did.
Joe, this is one of the changes in baseball that I think is for the better. With all the speedy base stealers around, even though they're behind, they take off and run and get in scoring position. No longer play that one by the book, and I know you like it.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great because that's out of play. The stolen base that you get today really serves notice for the next couple of days. Even though it may not figure in the scoring right here, but the next time Claudell Washington gets on, they're going to say, you better watch him holding close. It might mean more curveballs. It might mean the guy holds him on, and you got a big hole between first and second. It's a real good commercial.
Now, getting back to Washington, here he is, only 20 years old. He's stolen 32 bases this year, and he's hitting over 300. You think he's got a future?
Oh.
Youngest player in either squad.
Sutton moves Jackson back. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3-0. National League leading. We're in the bottom of the 5th.
American League needs a big hit. They haven't been able to get it. They've had their chances.
Off the bat. Jackson has a great description of the artificial surface and playing on natural grass. He says playing on natural grass, that's raw baseball. Raw baseball. Richie Allen says he don't like to play on grass that a horse can't eat. So they got their own way of saying it and their own preferences. 1-2 pitch.
Look out.
Strike 3 is called. It was a beauty. A curveball caught the outside corner. At the end of 5 innings, the score, National 3, American nothing. We've got some changes. There you see George Scott, a tremendous ovation as he comes in to play first base. Gene Tennis goes behind the plate. And Claudell Washington is in center field. And, of course, Jim Cott with his quick pitch. There you see Claudell Washington. Got an all-Oakland outfield with different uniforms. High fly ball, Reggie Jackson with the green top and white bottom. He makes the play.
They're going to have a decision someday to make there in Oakland because Alvin Dark says Claudell Washington's best position is right field.
He's a tremendous ball player. This is Bonnie Brewer. And this is Jim Cott. You can't do much between innings with this Cott pitching besides breathe. Reggie Smith. Fastball.
Johnny Sane, White Sox pitching coach, is the one who helped Cott develop this delivery, and Cott says it speeds up my arm motion, speed up the rest of my body. My arm is faster. I've got more velocity on my pitches, and I still have my control. He's a great fielder, too. He's won a lot of Golden Gloves in the American League out on the mound, and a pretty good hitter when he used to hit.
Smith, a good cut on the slow pitch. You know, ball players do a lot of things to help themselves. We talk about Royce. Reggie Smith, he keeps his hands strong by using weighted drummer sticks. And he got the idea from shaking hands with Buddy Rich, believe it or not. Fly ball in left field. Joe Rudy goes back. Smith said he shook hands with Buddy Rich, and he said, I couldn't believe how strong his hands were. And Buddy Rich said, well, you use these sticks a while and see what happens. He said for about 10 seconds, and they flew out of his hands. He couldn't hold them.
That was a good pitch Cott just threw Reggie Smith, just a little bit off his fastball, and had Smith out in front.
Here is Ron Say. He is 1 for 2. This is something to watch this Cott pitch, I'll tell you. Say's not taking his eyes off him. Foul ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nice play by the ball boy.
I don't know how you do in an English pub dart game. Huh? He'd be very good, wouldn't he? Hard to beat.
I tell you, boy, you'd want to use him if there was a time limit on the game. You don't fool around. Oh, there it is, that old Ephus pitch.
That's like almost softball. 10-inch arc, 10-foot
Remember when
arc.
Rip Sewell threw that Ephus pitch in the World Series?
Threw it against Ted Williams also in an all-star game.
There it is again, bouncing ball. Nettles has it. Cott's going to have another easy inning. 3 up and 3 down. Who can knock it? Scores. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. National League 3, American League nothing. Well, next Monday night, we'll be in Baltimore. Oakland against Baltimore, and Milwaukee at Chicago will be seen in Oakland and Baltimore. And preceding the game on the baseball world, we'll bring you highlights of that annual congressional ball game between the Republicans and the Democrats. So we invite you to watch it. I'm kind of anxious to see it myself. They'll have a quorum there, and they play by their own rules, so you'll see it. NBC Sports, #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. Bill Matlock is at third base for the National League from the Chicago Cubs. And the new pitcher is Tom Seaver.
Seaver pitched on Sunday. Matlock will be batting third, and Seaver seventh in the lineup. I don't see how. Let's see. It can be that way. Seaver would be hitting seventh. Say has just left the game. They probably put the pitcher in the seventh spot and dropped Matlock down into the number 9 position.
That information can't be correct that we got.
Morgan stays in the lineup. He's hitting third.
Got to be. You're right. You're right, Kirk.
Seaver will be hitting seventh, probably. And Matlock will be up next inning, batting ninth. Pretty good man to have up, too. Matlock.
Not too bad. Pretty good hitter, pretty good ball player. He's put a lot of critics to rest, not only with his hitting, but with his fielding. Tom Seaver against Joe Rudy. Joe Rudy is 0 for 2. He bounced out both times. Not this time, though. Base hit. Rudy jumped on the first pitch. He is known as a first ball fastball hitter. And here comes George Henrik in the run for Rudy.
Joe, the American League has been stinging the ball now the last 3 innings. Well, they had 2 hits in the third, 2 hits in the fourth, a single in the fifth, a single here in the sixth, but they're all singles. They're not getting that big hit or that extra base hit they need.
Greg Nettles. Nettles is 1 for 2. Look out.
I almost got one of our Dominican Republic broadcasters, Alice Perez. They're sending this ball game via satellite back to the Dominican Republic, I believe for the first time.
First time, and no Dominican player in the game tonight.
Which is an upset with all the great Dominican players in organized baseball.
Good pitch by Seaver. This is his 5th All-Star game. He was on the team 3 other years, but he didn't pitch. 7 innings, no runs and 3 hits. 0-0 record in All-Star play. Pretty good pitcher. There goes Henrik. Bench is going to have a tough throw. It is not in time. Seaver just kind of glanced at Henrik, and Henrik really got a good jump. Johnny Bench made a tremendous throw.
So twice now, the American League. Last time, Claudel Washington, the pinch runner. It's a tough job. You come off the bench cold. Perfect pitch to go on, though. Bench did all he could to get rid of the ball with great stuff on it, but that low pitch, a tough one to come up with and throw fast.
It was a slow breaking pitch that gave Henrik that extra half step or so.
Bench did it all, but Henrik steals second base, and that's a big place. 3-0. National League is leading, but it takes away that double play situation. A base if it's to the right side. Greg Nettles, good cut, didn't get it, and Seaver gets a big strikeout. Boy, a picture of confidence. Look at him. Seaver and Bench, 2 franchises. If I own those 2 guys, I'll make them sleep in a deep freeze.
I like to be half an agent for each one.
Oh, me. Here's Gene Tennis. Gets booed here, but I'll tell you something, boys. In Bologna, he's big. I asked one of those Italian kids, who's your favorite player? He said, Gino Tenacci. That's my favorite player. Tenacci. That's the way they say it over there.
Got a rookie on deck now, fellas. Freddie Lynn of the Red Sox.
What a year he's having, that fellow. Henrik, a good lead.
He has a rookie teammate right behind him, Jim Rice, by just a few runs batted in, too. I think both of them have knocked in nearly 50% of the Red Sox runs were produced in this year.
Sidearm curveball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Tennis. Tennis was safe on an error, and he flied to left field. He's a strong guy, this Tennis. Seaver looks in sometimes, looks like he's grinning, and sometimes like he's sneering. Kind of reminds you of that old Charlie Brown at Peanuts, and give him the old change of face. Here's Henrik at second base. This guy can really run. Seaver misses.
You don't think there is Like the change of face, that's a Stengel expression. Casey said
Really?
the change of face. You look at the outside corner, and the hitter says, you throw inside and high. That's Stengel's change of face.
You put me on.
No.
You put me
No,
on.
he taught it to every pitcher on the staff.
Tennis is a deceiving hitter. He hasn't had as many walks this year as last year. He had over 100 last year, but he really looks that ball over.
3 balls and 2 strikes. You gotta be kidding me, Tony.
No.
3-2 pitch. Ball 4. He walked him, and here comes Fred Lynn, a pinch hitter.
Joe, I started to tell a story earlier, a couple of innings ago, as Lynn steps in, about sitting with Musial and Mantle in the lobby, and Fred Lynn was with his father. And Musial and Mantle said, how well do you know Fred Lynn? Well, I said, I've seen him play a couple times. They said, could you get him over and introduce us to him?
Is that right?
Talk about fans, and Fred was thrilled when I told him that story. He said, you got to be kidding me, but it's true.
Boy, what a great young player this fellow is, 23 years old.
Fastball misses outside.
Joe, he
Ball
had
1.
1,400,000 write-in ballots. Second highest to Mike Schmidt last year. Strepsky's out on deck.
High fly ball, right field. Bobby Mercer calls for it. And Mercer makes the play. So they're 2 away, and here comes Carl Yastrzemski. He'll be the batter for Busby. Or Cott, rather.
He has been red hot the last month.
.313, 10 home runs, 40 runs batted in. 5 for 5 game on Sunday. He's 12 for his last 23. That's a Little League average, over 500. Carl Yastrzemski. National League leading 3-0, bottom of the 6th. Well hit, deep to right field. This ball could be gone. Back, home run.
Goes Bernie Brewer, just disappeared to the suds. He has caught fire. He raised his average from 210 to 313. No doubt about that one. And the American League finally got that big hit. In 4 of the last 5 innings, they've had 2 men on base each inning, but couldn't punch one through. They finally got it.
And listen to this crowd. Look at that bench. It has come alive. Everybody's up. Yastrzemski, a 3-run pinch hit home run. First pitch by Tom Seaver to Yastrzemski, and we're all tied up. Here is George Scott. Got those beads on that he wears. There you see him. I asked him what those are. He said those are second baseman's teeth. He is something.
I have to tell the story. Remember when Bill Bowling signed him?
Oh, yeah.
You got a man up there named Ted Williams. Did you tell him that George C. Scott is on the way?
And he believed it. I said to him, George, I need a line for the All-Star game. He said, how can we lose with what we use? Got a little bit of Muhammad Ali poetry in him. Whoa, he went for a long one. He was going for a tater, as he calls them. He likes that ball inside, and he refers to it as heat in the kitchen. There is Seaver sneering and Scott waiting. Strike is called. Didn't like it. There's a great study in contrast.
He's the best fielding first baseman I've ever seen. Never seen a better one.
Seaver gets him on a big breaking curveball, but at the end of 6, we're all tied up at 3 apiece.
New lineup out there. Claudel Washer now has gone to left field. Fred Lynn is in center field. George Hendrick is in right field. We have a new shortstop, Bucky Dent, and a new pitcher, Catfish Hunter. And Luzinski's coming up to bat. Well, you got a lot of action coming up. And following him will be Madlock.
I must say that this All-Star game so far has really given the 51,480 fans their money's worth because they've seen all the stars, they've seen all the action that you could want, and everybody seems to be getting into the game. There is a commissioner's box, and left to right, Bill Solisich from Gillette, Julian Goodman, NBC, Mrs. Kissinger, Dr. Kissinger, Bowie Kuhn, Louisa Kuhn. Better get Herb Schlosser in there so I can get some job security. Everybody's here. Here is Greg Luzinski. Tony, this is one of your boys. Powerfully built. When he hits them, they are really touched. Catfish Hunter, fastball, foul back.
Look at the legs on Luzinski, you fans, when we get a full-length shot of him. I never saw a stronger pair of legs on a man.
25 home runs and 79 runs batted in. Lead the National League. His legs got places where we usually have muscles.
What a comeback he's had after he had that knee surgery last year. He finished the year when they thought he might not play the rest of the year, and he's leading the league in home runs now.
Hey, this is interesting. The old battery mates are back together.
That's right. There's Luzinski leading at 25, bench 19, Stargell 17. Slow curveball. Good curveball. Catfish Hunter. Who do you think his baseball hero is? I heard him on a television show the other night. Catfish Hunter. Luzinski is out on strikes. Kurt, I don't think you'd guess it in a million years. You would need to.
Baseball hero?
His hero, who he enjoyed watching play baseball. And it was a fellow that we all know so well.
I was in this part of the country?
No.
Benito Slaughter.
I'll have to tell you. Jimmy Pearsall.
Was it really?
He said he was really an exciting player for me.
He was.
Here is Bill Madlock, and what a year this young fella's having. There it is, 353, leads the National League. High fly ball. Claudell Washington and Fred Lynn. Who's going to get it? Washington says, nope. Lynn says, let the sure man have it.
Lynn is not only good with a bat, but a superb outfielder. He can go get the ball, good hands, knows what to do with it after he gets it. Just born to play Major League Baseball.
He went to USC on a football scholarship,
right.
Too.
And the first play in spring practice, they ran 2 pulling guards and Sam Cunningham at him, and he decided to change back to baseball again.
That'll make you change your mind, wouldn't it?
And John McKay, who was the athletic director, let him keep his scholarship and go to baseball, which was very thoughtful of John.
Pete Rose. Pete Rose made a great fielding play, and there it is, right there. Diving catch of a sinking line drive. What a catch that was. Look at that. He just bounces. I love that description of Rose, Mr. Hustle. Says when he takes his shoes off, they still go for 10 minutes. Didn't mean to swing.
He was going out to dinner with his wife, Carolyn, and their young son, who I believe is 5 or 6 years old, Joe, last night. And his son came out with a Steve Garvey T-shirt on, and Pete said, wait a second, you got to get dressed better than that. You go back up to the room or go in a fancy place. He came back down, he had a Pete Rose T-shirt, and he said, now you're okay.
Listen, we got an upcoming baseball world with Mrs. Perez, Mrs. McEnany, and Mrs. Rose, where we sat and we mic'd them during the ball game. It was really something. That whole family, that whole Rose family, great. Fouled off.
This momentum's changed a bit. The National League's had 10 men in a row go down now, since Concepcion led off the 4th with a single.
Koch shut him off. Heyman did a good job.
Well, he had him with that no windup of his. Up the middle, Rose sneaks it through, gets another base hit. That's his second base hit.
It was an interesting shot as the ball went up the middle, and Hunter started to go after it with his bare hand. And recall what, a couple of years ago, Alan Roth, he did the same thing and injured his thumb and was out for quite a while.
Broke his thumb.
Here is Bobby Mercer batting for the first time in this game. Mercer from the San Francisco Giants, and that Bonds to the Yankees, and Mercer to San Francisco trade. Big lead by Rose.
With Bobby's home runs, of course, he's had a lot of publicity, but Mercer's played a very solid all-around game for the Giants this year.
There's the strike. George Scott with that glove that's been restrung.
He calls it the Black Beauty.
Yeah.
9 years old.
Good lead by Rose. Scoreboard's got 1-1. I gotta believe it's 2 balls and a strike. There it is. They indicate it now. 2 balls and a strike. And this is a manager's delight right here. They'd like to send the runners if they're going to send them at all. Holding. Mercer chased the bad ball. Carew is way over, Tony, on the edge of the outfield grass, way over at second base.
He's playing Mercer pretty much as a pull hitter, although the outfield are playing him about straight away. Lynn in dead center field, as you see.
2-2 pitch. It's foul straight back. It's out of play. Tennis coming back.
I think Hunter's one of the most deceiving pitchers, Joe and Tony, I've ever seen. Looks like you want to get a bat and come out of the stands and hit against him, but he moves the ball around and spots it here and there, and his record indicates how great he's been.
He's changed so since he first came up. He told me yesterday that he actually threw more breaking balls. He didn't have what he called a good fastball, but now he throws harder than he did as a young kid, which is a little bit unusual, I think.
I think what you said first, Kurt, he moves that ball around. He spots it well. There goes Rose. Bouncing ball. Nettles comes in fast. In time. Got him. Good close play. So the score is still tied up as we go into the bottom of the 7th, 3 apiece. Next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, Milwaukee at Chicago. Atlanta at the New York Mets will be seen in Milwaukee and Chicago. So that's next Saturday baseball. And then next Monday night at 8 o'clock, Oakland and Baltimore. Milwaukee at Chicago, that'll be seen in Oakland and Baltimore. In the baseball world, we'll do the annual congressional game between the Republicans and the Democrats. So, next Monday night, 8 o'clock, Oakland and Baltimore, and Milwaukee at Chicago. Now we got Larry Boa over at shortstop. And the new pitcher is John Matlack. Matlack is the pitcher. Matlock is the third baseman. Stock and Haller, the umpire, going over.
Funny thing, Alvin Dark was saying yesterday that he was going all out to win. He would make very few changes. He got practically a new ball club in this ball game. And it's his reserves that really came to life. There he is talking to the rookie, Fred Lynn. How's it feel, kid, to be here as a rookie playing in your first All-Star game? Freddie Lynn with his back to you.
A lot of the players are getting in. Fans are getting their money's worth. Well, I was kind of anxious to see what would happen in the bottom of the 7th inning, the top of the 7th, but Dr. Kissinger, as Secretary of State, has remained seated through the 7th inning. I wonder how that ever got started, that 7th inning stretch. You know, Tony?
Wasn't it a president? One of the presidents way back when went to a ball game and he stood up to stretch his legs. I don't know if it's legendary or not. And the rest of the fans, out of respect, was it Taft who did it? And the rest of them said, if he stands, we stand. It's been going on ever since.
Kurt? That's about your time.
Yeah, that's it. I remember well.
Carew. Well, listen, we got to get even with you. That opening, we heard you say Stan's old teammate and Mantle's old teammate, and they are old. We heard you. Tie ball game, bottom of the 7th, Carew against John Matlack.
Well, the Babe Ruth said I had a better year than Hoover.
Carew can really handle that bat. Curveball misses. I asked him about the 4 different stances that he's got. This would be a kind of an open stance. Uses one where it's square, his legs are close for right-hand curveball pitchers, and then he uses one partially open and slightly back and wide open in an open stance. I would think this would be stance number 2. Look, he's moved already. He constantly moves. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Struck him out. John Matlack with a good fastball. This is his second All-Star game, picks up a strikeout.
He was complaining about only playing 3 innings last time. He's getting his share tonight.
Wes Stock out again now to talk to Bill Haller, the home plate umpire. There might have been a mix-up, and now Bench looking over Stock's shoulder. I think there's some mix-up in the lineup here. Haller now going over to the National League dugout. Yes, Bench and Wes Stock are saying, well, who is hitting where?
Yeah, but Carew, he's been in the game, so he's all right.
Yeah, he's scheduled first. Washington is next.
There's frustration. Wes Stock.
Although we've got it up here, relayed from down from the umpires. Of course, this is the National League. Boa will bat 7th, Matlack 8th, Matlock 9th. But they're questioning, apparently, the lineup for the American League. Figure it out, Stan Musial. You're the honorary captain. Think of something.
Look at that score chart, how they have to mark it out.
Looks like a wet crossword puzzle. Well, you know, a couple times this year, though, guys have gotten away with it. Red Sox had it. When the guy batted out of turn, nobody caught it. Washington is up to now. Claudel Washington.
That's one of the most interesting situations. There's about 3 pages in the rule book. It gets so complicated.
Bouncing ball up the middle, and Claudel gets a base hit. And he likes to run. He can run, and with the score tied, he probably will run.
Here it is, looking over the shoulder of Reggie Smith, just out of the reach. And again, Claudel, you'll see why he gets a lot of hits up the middle. They play their infield spread apart, shortstop and second base on him. He does spray the ball around.
Billy Martin is the first base coach, and he was over talking to Claudel Washington, but Alvin Dark just turns him loose. He gives him a green light. This is Bucky Dent of the White Sox. Big lead by Claudel Washington. That was just a little bit of a notice that I know you're there. Not his good move.
Dent is a very difficult man to strike out. He's a tough out.
Good bunter, too.
That was a little better. Still not his good move. He hasn't given you that Sunday move yet.
Where he fools you is when he comes home, he kicks that leg in the direction of first base, and he'll get you leaning back, and then he comes home.
Dent, a good swing at it. We're all tied. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-3. Looked like the National League was going to make a romp when they got back-to-back home runs from Garvey and Wynn in the 2nd inning. A 3-run pinch hit home run by Yastrzemski in the 6th, and it's all tied up. National League got another run in the 3rd. High.
Joe, it's great to see those shortstops come in and bat cleanup in an all-star game. I think Dent ever dreamed of that.
Oh, brother. He'll tell his grandkids about it. I don't blame him.
Well, they got a catcher batting cleanup at the end side.
Say, I was on a team with Henry Aaron and George Scott. And
there goes Claudel. They got him picked off. Will he make it? It got him. He broke too soon. He was in no man's land. And Garvey to Boa. And now the bag was torn loose.
Matlack threw over a couple of times. You can see here, this sometimes is a pre-planned play. Brock does it, Morgan does it. They get the big lead, draw a throw, and then try and beat the first baseman's throw to second base, but not this time.
That was a good shot we had there because you could see he broke really way too soon. We're going to have a little bit of time here as they get a new bag.
You know, most players would have been out by a yard or 2 on that. He's so fast that he made that a close play at second base. Watch it here now.
He still got, look at there. He still had the ball, wasn't even going close to the plate, Tony.
That might have been a pre-planned play. We saw Lou Brock try it on our Saturday game of the week. He was caught. But a lot of the good base stealers, the fast runners try it. Wills tried it a lot. He did it against us in the World Series, the Yankee ball club, and made it to second base.
Well, it's good the groundskeepers get a little bit of television exposure because they get this field in great shape. They're constantly working.
This is something I think the fans rarely see, how a bag is anchored down at a major league ballpark. This all happens 3 or 4 hours before a ball game starts.
Remember the old days when they had the straps?
Right.
You can take a look at how hard Claudell Washington slid. He must have broken that metal part loose.
Well, he tore it right
He
off.
really hit hard, and he grabbed it with his hand, too. You know, while we've got some time, Joe, you know, we've talked about a lot of people. There's Alston talking to Haller. A lot of people in all-star games, been in a lot of ball games. These are two pretty young all-star teams, but I think we ought to congratulate Kurt Gowdy. This is, what, your 10th consecutive all-star telecast? 1966 you started out, wouldn't you?
That's right. I didn't think of it. I don't know.
Well, don't be so humble. It'll be a first.
You're going to fool around and get your 10-year pin. You know that, don't you?
Go watch.
Yeah.
See you later.
At the luncheon today, that's what we saw. Some of the broadcasters got him. They're really having a time down there fixing that bag.
We've seen just about everything. Diving, catches, good base stealing. There's the commissioner's box again very quickly. One balk in the ball game.
This is going to take an engineering job. Here comes somebody else out to help him.
Wasn't there a rule in the old days if you jarred the bag loose, you were safe? I kind of thinking it was a rule change. John Matlack, as the groundskeepers start to work. Boy, they are really digging there.
Might be a good time to review the scoring for those that joined us late. Garvey led off the second with a home run to left. His teammate Jim Wynn followed with a homer to make it 2-0. In the third, Brock single, went to second on a box, stole third, scored on bench a single. That made it 3-0. The American League kept threatening, leaving two men on, man on in the fourth, man on in the fifth. And finally, Yastrzemski hit a pinch hit 3-run homer to tie it up in the sixth. That's the way we stand right now.
So here is Bucky Dent. Strike is called. Matlack with a good pickoff move, able to get Washington. Curveball, and Dent is out on strike. Slow curveball. So we end 7 innings, and we're still tied up here. National 3, American League 3. We pause now for station identification.
See Gladys Knight and the Pips, Thursday at 8, 7 Central Time.
Joe Morgan jumped on the first pitch and just fouled it off for strike one. He can really control that strike zone. Strike two. Cecil Upshaw has a great description. Upshaw says that he's so small that even when you pitch to the bottom part of the strike zone, his eyeballs are not very far from it. And he's right. He can really, look at there. That's not much of a strike zone, Tony.
He's leading the league in walks. He's something. He's leading almost, well, a lot of offensive departments. I guess up until the All-Star break, he's been the player in the major leagues.
Two-strike pitch. Popped up. Rod Carew's taking charge. Morgan is out.
Joe, a catfish hunter's got to be a pleasure to sit behind home plate and try and catch. Tennis has been putting the target up, and he's been right near it almost every pitch, and he changes speed so well, just upsets the hitter's timing.
He just moves the ball around. Here is Johnny Bench. Bench is fouled out, drove in a run the third inning, and lined hard in the fifth. Nettles really guarding the line at third. We're all tied up at 3 apiece. We're in the 8th. So you're flirting with danger. 2 balls and no strikes. There's a good shot of it.
Look at Dent. He's way over in the hole for Bench.
Right side, George Scott. He calls for it with that black beauty. He'll get a tremendous hand. Hey, hometown boy makes it. They love him here. Why not? He's had some good years.
Tony Perez now coming onto the on-deck circle. He's going to be a pinch hitter.
He won the All-Star game in Anaheim in the 15th inning with a home run.
He's off Hunter, too.
That's right. Fella's been a tremendous ball player, and I guess when you listen to ball players, they have their own way of describing how a guy gets the job done. A pitcher, for example, is a great pitcher if with a man on third and less than 2 outs, he can get out of it. A batter, if he can drive that run in from first base with 2 outs, is a good batter, a good hitter, a good RBI man. And Perez, they say he can drive him in from any place in the ballpark, and that includes the clubhouse.
He had thoughts of trading him this past winter.
And what did he do? He just got himself in better shape, went to spring training, didn't say nothing, and says, look, I'm going to be ready. And he got off to a slow start, and that 255 is indicative of the arrow moving up. Tony Perez. Ball 1.
All the Reds are having those big years together, but not just the stars, it's whoever they put in the lineup.
You look at the Foster, for example.
Griffey.
Griffey's another one. Catfish Hunter against Perez. Good swing. One ball, 2 strikes. Fastball got him, and Catfish gets a strikeout, and that's it for the National League. We go into the bottom half of the 8th inning, tied up at 3 apiece.
Tied an all-star game record by appearing in his 24th game today. We asked Henry before the ballgame if it seems like 20 years ago that he played here in Milwaukee.
Well, I can remember that 1955 all-star game, Tony, very well. Of course, Stan Musial hit the home run of Sullivan in the 12th inning to win the game, and I just like to say that I'm very happy to be participating in my 24th all-star game, and hope the fans enjoy it.
Well, Henry, I'll tell you, the fans are really enjoying it. And the ovation that he got before the game was a tremendous thrill. We're all tied up. Bottom of the 8th. Here is Hendrick. We've had a couple changes on defense for the National League. Cash is at second. Perez is at first. There is Dave Cash. And you talk about Mr. Positive Thinking. And there's Tony Perez. George Hendrick from the Cleveland Indians. Matlack misses. 2 balls, no strikes.
Both managers using their squads, Joe. They're giving the fans the show that most fans wanted.
That they're doing, Tone.
Interesting to look at the pinch hitting situation. The right-handed pinch hitters left for the American League. They still have Dave Chalk, Bill Freehand, Toby Hara, and Hal McRae. They're out of left-handers.
2 balls and 2 strikes. That's fouled out of play. Dave Cash, the second baseman, really breaking hard to his left as Hendrick begins his swing. Matlack kept that ball outside the last 2 pitches and looked like George was going to go that way. Broke the other way.
Yeah, he did.
And now he ain't going to get him. Did not get him. He broke the other way, Tony.
He sure did. That fastball tails away. That Matlack throws to right-handed hitters, and as soon as he saw the fastball side, Cash was shading to his left. And a little thing like this may mean a difference. Hendricks really ran hard all the way. You can see him going. Almost a good recovery by Davy Cash.
Yes, sir. He played the pitch. He broke the other way, and it cost him. Here now is Nettles. He's singled in the 4th, and he's 1 for 3. Matlock at third base has moved in close. He's looking for the bunt. Right off the shin guards.
I'll bet Nettles hasn't done much of this in his career.
No. He bunted that one. He's a little bit disgusted. Look at him. He's saying, bunt, how do you spell it? Never mind, how do you bunt? Again, they're going to give it to me? Come on.
What a hole he's got between Cash and Perez at first base if he does put the switch on and pull the ball.
It's not the good move.
Well, it may wind up very important in this game. Could be Hal McRae's bat.
Yes, sir. Something to keep in mind.
Tennis is dugout.
Yeah, Tennis is the on-deck hitter, if you're wondering. Turned him loose. He took it inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of things you could be thinking about here. Hendrick has got great speed at first base. Matlock at third base is in. You could play run and hit. You could play hit and run. You could play bunt and run. Straight steal. We're all tied. Bunted high curveball. That was really American Legion roundhouse he threw that time. Hung up there. You see it? The big cantaloupe.
I'd have to bet that Alvin Dark's going to put the switch on again and let him swing away. He's ahead on the count. You'd probably be guessing Matlock coming with a fastball, but Matlock is way up at third base.
Third base is right, Tony. Now he's drifting back. Right to Perez. They got one. Bo is coming back, and they do not get him. The throw was off target.
Hendricks barreled in to shortstop Bo just enough to upset his timing on the throw. Force a wild throw, or they could not get Nettles. Look at it. Here comes Hendricks. Bo trying to get out of the way to the inside. He just made him jump out of the way a little bit to upset him. He didn't get much on the throw.
You think he had enough time, Tony? I really thought he did.
I think he had plenty of time. There he is. He's got the ball. Nettles does not run well.
The ball's released before he's there.
That's right. He took that
Made a
for
bad
granted.
throw.
Yes,
Right.
sir. I agree with you. Tennant takes the strike. Cash got something to say to him now. We got 1 man out. There's Alvin Dark. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bo is cheating towards the hole, and Cash is cheating towards the bag. 2 strikes to count. One out. Tony, if a ground ball was hit right now to Cash, there's no way. He'd have to run over there, wouldn't he? No way he could get a double play at second base.
Boy, it'd be tough. Bo would have a long way to go to make the throw. He doesn't have 2 very speedy runners, which could be to the advantage.
You don't have to worry about it because
What a
he
good
just got
fastball.
Yeah, that was a good fastball. Got it up.
A lot of the National League hitters talk about John Matlack as having about the livest arm, but one of the livest. That ball really darts in the strike zone.
One of the reasons this youngster, Lynn, did not go in the first round of the draft, they thought he would bail out against left-handers. He doesn't. He may strike out. I don't know what he'll do. You watch him. He'll stand in here against a left-hander. How about 10 RBIs in 1 game for a rookie this year? 3 homers.
About 10 RBIs for anybody.
And he missed the 4th homer by a couple of feet in the same game.
Had a good cut.
There he is scoring one of the runs against the Tigers that he had 5 hits and knocked in 10 runs. 3 homers and a triple and a single.
Pulls it foul, and it's strike 2. Well, your man McRae has just come out of the American League dugout, Kurt. He's going to be the pinch hitter. We're all tied up. We're in the bottom of the 8th here. 3-3. There's Hal McRae. That's really getting scouting down to a fine line. What's he going to do against left-hand pitching when young like that, when he does so well against right-hand pitching? 2 men out. There goes Nettles, a big jump. No way, he may go to third. He's rounding second. He is going to go to third. The throw is not in time. Matlock did not give him a look, and Nettles took off. And may have crossed Johnny Bench up. And now Nettles is at third.
What a surprise. Nobody in the ballpark, including Matlock, expecting Nettles to go, but he takes off. Had he been thrown out at third base by Betts, there might have been an obstruction.
I was going to say,
Boa got in his
nearly
way.
obstructed the base path.
Did not steal a base all season long, and Nettles comes up with a stolen base. You think he crossed him up?
No.
I think the ball just was concealed from his view by the bat of Lynn and his body.
Right. You're absolutely right, Tony. I don't think he's crossed up. I think that bat got right in the line of vision. John wasn't sure and went off the heel.
Nettles hadn't had a steal during the regular season.
Well, he's in scoring position at third with 2 men out. But Matlock gets the strikeout. Lynn is out on strikes. That ends the 8th inning, and we're all tied up at the end of 8 complete innings. National League 3, American League 3.
Hi, I'm Bob Uecker. You know, during my brilliant baseball career, about the closest I came to first-hand knowledge of an all-star game was what I read. And though I was voted in each year, I was always asked to take the 3 days off. This year, though, I've been closer than I've ever been to the Classic thanks to this official 75 All-Star magazine, full of features, facts, and a super fold-out poster. To get your copy, send a check or money order for $2.50 to All-Star Magazine, Box 0, Milwaukee. That's $2.50 to All-Star Magazine, Box 0, Milwaukee. See you in the book.
The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball and Balfour. Here is Reggie Smith. He is batting left-handed against Catfish Hunter. Off the end of the bat, it's going to drop in fast as Washington. He drops the ball, can't hold it. He had a long way to come. Now he throws it wildly, but nice play by Catfish Hunter.
He almost made one terrific catch. He had to come a long way from left field. And you wonder, as he started getting under the ball, if that ball might have gotten in the lights. Let's see where it hits. Right off the heel of his glove. Jordan looked like he took his eye off the ball and maybe lost it in the lights.
The
little looping line drive.
About the third step from where the ball hit him, it looked like he may have been something distracted him, whether he jarred it by running on his heels or whatever. At any rate, Smith is on. Here is Al Oliver. Strike one, tried to bunt, hitting .294, 9 home runs and 48 runs batted in, Oliver.
And this is the last left-handed pinch hitter the National League has.
Have Sanguillen of the Pirates and Gary Carter of Montreal left on their bench.
Both right-handers.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. One and one to count. Chased a bad ball, it seemed like. It was on the outside part of the plate. Missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he go around? Foul tip. Got a piece of it. He went around all right.
A lively game, hasn't it?
It sure has. And they've had a lot of players in the game. This is the kind of game that, as Tony was saying, people want to see players. They see them. All kinds of plays. They're trying to move Claudell Washington back.
Oliver with good power to left center field and right center field.
Line down the left field line. Washington chasing it. He can't get it. Extra bases. Reggie Smith is digging for third. They're going to hold him up. Red put the red light up. That ball sliced away from Claudell Washington. They moved him back, but not close enough to the line. It's a 2-base hit for Al Oliver, the pinch hitter. And here it is, Tony.
Claudell looks like he's got a beat on it as he hits the warning track, and then he pulls up. He did get to the ball very quickly now as he braces himself against the wall and gets it in very quickly. Shane Dean started to send Smith and then changed at the last. Darps coming in, signaling for a right-hander.
But a couple of difficult plays in a row for young Claudell Washington in left field.
Interesting story. Claudell Washington almost did not get here. He had those dizzy spells where he fainted, twice in his hotel room. They sent him to doctors, but he wanted to come to the All-Star game.
And here is another human story. Alvin Dart removing a pitcher that he managed last year, the big story in baseball. Hunter moving on to the Yankees.
Well, there it is, a Charger SC. I thought I sold that with $300 back, but we're not putting that on. If you got class, you got to ride in that.
You sold it on that last commercial.
Well, there's a break in the action to score National League 3 and the American League 3. Well, the new pitcher is Rich Gossage. He's 4-6, 13 saves, a 1.92 earned run average, and there is the Commissioner's Award for the most valuable player.
And 4 of the 5 winners of that award, that started in 1970. They give this after the game's over. Yastrzemski won it in 1970, Bobby Bonds in 73, Joe Morgan in 72, and Steve Garvey won the Commissioner's Trophy last year. I'd say it's up for grabs right now in this game.
You could put the names on the wall and hit it with the dart, and you'd be in pretty good shape. Here's what they call the basic 4-shot of the pitcher. That's a kind of a joke with our people. That's the quad, and it gives you a good view of Gossage. Study any one of the 4 that you'd like, and you'll see a different view.
And he can throw hard. He has really come along for the White Sox, helping out Terry Forster out of that bullpen. When he comes from the side to right-handed hitters, he'll back you out of the box.
Tony, I think the quad in the right-hand, upper right-hand corner is the one. He throws so hard, he almost jumps out of there. He really bears down on it. The situation is this. We got base runners at second and third. Oliver is at second. Reggie Smith is at third. There is nobody out. The infield is in. And Larry Boa is the batter. And he is a man who gets the bat on the ball. Tough man to strike out. Out of play.
Boa is an excellent bunter with nobody out. Well, you don't look for a squeeze play. They'd like to get him a crack for the fly ball, but you never know.
Boa's only struck out 12 times in 63 games. Hey, all the way back. Wait a minute. Time is called. It may have hit him. They're going to give him first base. They're going to give him first base. Just didn't nick him. So the bases are loaded now. And it's up to Phil Matlock. And this is what the All-Star games are all about. You got the bases loaded. You're in the top of the ninth. Nobody out, and the National League's leading hitter is up there.
Let's take a look and see if we can pick up the ball actually hitting Larry Boa with first base open. Tennis actually moved outside. He wanted to pitch away. A lot of pressure on the infielders now, Joe.
Yes, sir. Gossage is going to work off the stretch. Outside, ball one. Bill Matlock, 353. Morgan, 345. Sanguian, 338. Parker, 336. Not even here. Watson, 326.
Young Parker, 15 homers. There's a big player of the future, Dave Parker with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pretty good throwing arms in the outfield for the American League right now. Washington throws well, charges the ball well. Left Freddie Lynn, an exceptional throwing arm, but he really charges the ball. And Hendricks throws well and right on the fly ball.
Foul ball out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And we'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Bases loaded. Out of play once again. Tough pitch. Gossage really coming sidearm. And brother, he wheeled and dealed from third base on that 1-1 pitch. Now with the count of 1 ball and 2 strikes, he'll really be snaking one up there. Matlock, tough hitter. Gossage, tough pitcher. Just missed outside. Oh, baby, how do you take pitches like that? Well, you take them because you're fooled. Sometimes you just can't pull that trigger. He just missed with that one.
Gossage is throwing bullets. He is throwing hard.
Right through middle. 1 run will score. Here comes Oliver. 2 runs will score. Hey, a decoy. And he knocked the ball away, and now they got to play at third base if he throws it. And it hit Red Shanedean. Right where Red Shanedean sits down, and I don't know who he was throwing it to. Gossage finally picked it up, and that certainly was not all-star play. Red's not going to rub. Tony, here's the replay. You might get.
What a battle by Bill Matlock with Nettles playing in. Gossage pitching from the stretch. He drilled one that just got under the glove with the infield in. And Tennis gives a good decoy. Washington all the way on the fly. Look at that. Almost got him. Now Gossage backing the play up. Almost hits the umpire. The bat boy finally gets red in the tail. And more trouble with the infield end.
They had everybody but somebody in the center field bleachers.
Here's Steve Rose. It's a strike.
An error was charged to Tennis.
Is that right? I guess allowing him to go to third. 2 RBIs on the play if you're scoring. An error on the catcher Tennis, which allowed the base runner Boa to go to third. Matlock ends up at second on the play. With Red Shanedean's getting an assist. I can't wait to needle him about that one.
All-star game you'll never forget.
Pete Rose. Pete is 2 for 4. So in the 9th inning with 2 runs in, the National League is taking a 5-3 lead. 23 hits in this game so far. Outside high. Boy, we've had some action here.
You can throw another name into the hat for the possible MVP of this game, Madlock. Oliver up with a big double to left field.
Yeah.
You got Jastrzemski's got to be in it for getting the American League back into it.
Well,
Hot.
You'll find out before anybody because you'll be making the presentation.
No, I'm going to let the commissioner make the presentation.
Oh, okay. Well hit to left field. Claudell Washington going back. Boa is tagging up. Catch is made. Boa comes in. There goes Matlock to third. So it's a 6-3 ball game. Sacrifice fly for Pete Rose. He's had a pretty good night, Mr. Rose.
He never lets up. I don't care what. This game means nothing in the standing, nothing for the records, and Pete just keeps on going.
Talk about candidates. He's made a tumbling catch in left. He's had 2 hits.
Yes,
He's
sir.
lined out. He's just driven in another run.
Played 2 different positions. Here is Bobby Mercer. Strike. 6-3, National League leading. 3 runs here in this 9th inning.
Tough inning for the American League. They still have to bring that infield in.
Mercer kind of just swept at that ball. That was a Ralph Garr swing. He didn't have a good cut at that ball. That's
Gossage is throwing so hard, Joe, and his ball is really tailing away from the left-handed hitters.
Bouncing ball to Carew. Looks Matlock back, flips to Scott, and Mercer is out. Here is Dave Cash. This guy's really been a spark plug for the Phillies. Been a great influence on that ball club, especially on Larry Bowe, who gives him a lot of credit. 324, 4 home runs, 32 runs batted in.
He leads the majors in base hits with 122.
Last game we did over there, Kurt, I said, I saw where you said in the spring you were going to get 220 hits. He says, yeah, but I changed it. With inflation, I went 250. I said to Boa, 250 hits. He said he makes his goals unrealistic, but then he looks like he's going to accomplish it. Positive thinker, Dave Cash. He's up there right now, though, with 2 quick strikes. This Gossage is tough.
Funny, the great stuff he had, and yet 3 runs are in.
Right. Look at that. He wheeled until he fell. When a fella's Matlock is on at third base, when a fella's sidearms you like that, to right to Cash, I know left-handers, man. When I left-handed sidearm me, my front leg would say, let's get out of here. It loses guts. You can feel the pressure on your shoestrings wanting to bail out. That is tough to hang in there when you come from that far from the side. Look at that. Just always love it, too. Managers sit there and say, hang in there, hang in there. Yeah, you hang in there. You're on the bench. Watch how he wheels from the side. This is a big guy. He's well over 6 feet. Looks like he's throwing from behind the third base coach. Whoop. 6-3, National League leading. 3 runs here in the 9th inning. Right off the handle. Dent, long throw. They get him. That ends the inning, so we go into the bottom of the 9th. National League 6, American League 3. Well, it's the bottom of the 9th, do or die, and Hal McRae has come out of the American League dugout. He'll be the pinch hitter, and Randy Jones from San Diego Padres will be the new pitcher for the National League.
Here's a fellow that lost 22 games last year. Had an earned run average of 4.46. This year, look at that record. 11-6. He had a perfect game for 7 innings against Cincinnati in July and lost it. And he pitched a 1-hitter in a 10-inning game against the Cardinals. He's developed into one of the better young pitchers in the major league, Randy Jones. And he'll try and hold a 3-run lead now in the last of the 9th inning. Al McRae is going to come up to bat as a pinch hitter. He's a right-hander. He'll be followed by George Scott and then Rod Carew.
That whole San Diego Padre ball club has taken on a whole different kind of feel, I think, Kurt. We saw them earlier in a couple of games. They got the good positive approach. Fellas are coming through, young ball players like Winfield. And they just, well, like John McNamara said, he said, the Lord didn't put me on the earth to be a loser. There is Gary Carter in left field. Al Oliver is in center field. And Reggie Smith has gone to right field. So the outfield is switched around. Randy Jones is a new pitcher.
We've had 3 different players play each outfield position tonight for the National League.
Here is Hal McRae, 310, 4 home runs, 54 runs batted in. He's a good doubles man. That's his specialty. Hits a lot of doubles. 6-3, National League is leading. .25 doubles. And that leads the American League. He's got 54 runs batted in. Randy Jones. Here we go. It's a strike. His crowd, partisan American League, as you would expect, they want some action. 1-1. Off the end of the bat, Jones going to have an easy play. McRae is out. Jones to Perez. Here is George Scott. There you see Dr. Kissinger, Nancy Kissinger, his wife, Commissioner Kuhn, his wife, Goodman, Bob Howard, NBC. And the most valuable player will be presented by the commissioner and Dr. Kissinger after the ball game. Who will it be?
Were you surprised that he brought in Jones and not his own man Marshall or McGraw?
In a way, I thought Marshall was coming in. Although Marshall had a tough last outing, I think, against the Cardinals. Tripled by Bake McBride. The next guy, instead of walking, I think, the base hit and lost it. Foul tip. McGraw, maybe.
The only thing I was thinking, they're more used to coming in holding leads in the 9th inning than a starting pitcher. He certainly looked good against McRae.
Looking at those beads, they were kidding. George Scott said, you know, if you got hurt out there, they wouldn't know whether to call a trainer or a jeweler. He chased a bad ball. He's out of there. I'll tell you, this Randy Jones has come on.
Let's watch this pitch. He's got a natural sinker. Randy Jones, that ball really comes down and dips right off the end of the table on you. And he had McRae off the fist with a sinking fastball and Scott going after a bad pitch. So he's had real stuff against 2 men.
There's a strike right on the outside corner. Randy Jones just gets that ball and throws strikes. Rod Carew, biggest vote getter. 2 outs. American League trailing by 3. We're in the 9th. 6-3's the score, and there's a curveball that misses. Well, who do you think is the most valuable player in this game? We'll find out right after the game. Right on the outside corner, man. That was a Hall of Fame pitch. Fly ball to left field. This could be it. Carter is there. That's it. A fly ball to Gary Carter. And the National League defeats the American League by the score of 6-3.
Their 4th win in a row. Their 12th win in the last 13 games. The winner is Matlack, pardon me, and the loser is Catfish Hunter, who's now 0-2 in All-Star games. And overall, the National League has 27 victories to 18 for the American League. We'll be back for the presentation of the Commissioner's Trophy right after this message.